Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. We're still waiting for people to join. In the meanwhile, while we are waiting, I'm just quickly unboxing a little package that came in today that I want to use here in the studio. That was the plan at least, and then I'm looking forward to do the Prusa Mark III build. So guess what this is? Oh my goodness. So who's watching? Probably one viewer already. So I'm getting ready for the stream. Hey. So I'm doing some prep work. This has actually nothing to do with the Prusa here. This is not the Prusa, but I got myself a little gift for myself for the studio. I've been waiting for this thing for such a long time. This is really cool. Literally cool. It's a little Xbox designed fridge for some drinks. So I'm looking forward to using this here in the studio, because you might have realized that I'm a little bit of a fan of energy drinks and I want to have them cooled here in the studio. So I'm gonna put this in place. Hopefully it's gonna work. So nice Xbox design fridge that I'm just gonna do. Just gonna set it up right now so I have some cool drinks for the stream. Let me see, is there any cables here? Yep, there is. Nice one, here we go. That's how it looks inside. So I'm gonna put my energy drinks here in this for the stream. And then we'll start as soon as some more people are joining in. Yes, it's an Xbox fridge. A little present to myself. So let me see how this works. Oh yeah, there's a 12-volt plug and there's a, oh nice, this actually can be run from 12-volt also, nice. So let's see if it works. I'm curious. I'm gonna put it here on my shelf so I have some cool drinks here. And because it's gonna be a little bit less energy consuming compared to my usual fridge here, which is pretty old actually. And since oh yeah, nice. Look at this. The logo. Yeah, nice. Okay, so we'll probably have, we're gonna put in some stuff here for tonight. Curious, probably, can they stand? No, it's for something to lay down stuff here. So probably have to fill it up a bit more, but that's gonna work for tonight. So for tonight I have the Prusa here, the i3 Mark III. It's not a Prusa fridge. Maybe at some day they're gonna come out with a Prusa fridge. And we're gonna prepare now for the actual Prusa build. And then we have a little bit of a seal here. Warranty seal. Security. No, it's not a warranty seal. I'm not sure about warranty on this printer because it's we're building it ourselves. It's not the pre-built version. So, where is everyone coming from? Tell me where you're from. Welcome Marcus, welcome Layden. I want to welcome you to the stream, to join me on this little journey here. I've never built the Prusa i3 Mark III. Actually, the last printer that I did that was coming in disassembled or not even pre-assembled was the A8 and the AM8. That was the only printer that I built before that was really coming in hundreds or, I don't know, dozens of parts. So, assembly instructions. We have a nice big manual here. I don't know how long this is going to take, and I don't know if we're going to finish tonight. But, yeah. Howdy from USA, France, Finland. Welcome. Let me say hello first to everyone joining in. Ontario, Kansas City. Hey, I'm from Germany. Hi, Basti. G, am Ende. I have a kit myself and not yet had a chance to build it. I'm very much looking forward to it. Prusa i3 for Matthias is coming next week. Awesome. G am Ende is from Connecticut, USA. This sounds actually German. Am Ende. G am Ende. Rapstraws coming from Ohio. Croton, Ohio. Yes, I'm uploading, like the stream is going to go on demand, so you can watch the stream on demand. It's gonna probably go live right after the stream ends. My guess is that since I have no idea how long this is going to take in terms of how many hours, and at some point I'm gonna get probably very tired because it's gonna get late here in Germany. Maybe we'll continue in a second session, but nevertheless, you will have the ability to go to the channel and watch the stream on demand and skip through, and maybe I'm going to add some chapters so it is easier for you to find the different sections of the unboxing and the setup and like the assembly and like the first tests. I'm curious. Let's see how far we can get. That's why I started the stream a little bit earlier than last week. I think last week we started at 10 or so. Now it's 8 o'clock in the evening in Germany. We gonna hopefully have a little bit more time. Welcome from Argentina, Belgium, Poland. John did an ANET build called it Sparky. That's awesome. Portugal. Wow, there's so many people from so many countries joining in. I'm happy to have you all here on the channel because I did start with the live streams a couple of weeks back, and I really enjoy it to meet you all and do stuff like this with you because first of all, I don't have to do it alone. I mean, I'm alone here in the studio, but I still have you in the chat, which is pretty much a nice thing. And then also, it's really, for me, it's super convenient to do the live streams and creating the community around the channel a bit more versus just posting a video and then like waiting for the comments to come in. But there's no huge interaction. I like this a lot, so I think I'm going to continue doing this stuff here. Popcorn out. Yes, watch it. Put your feet up on the couch. Take a drink. We're not trying to rush this here. We're trying to do it as best as possible with the hopefully working printer at the end. And I've just opened up the book. Like, I just want to show it to you again. The assembly instructions is a pretty huge book. It's like, how many pages? Oh my goodness, it's like, where is the actual last print page? It's 130 pages. What did I do here? Like, why am I doing this? Like, this is crazy. But at least we have good tools here. Like we have plenty of good tools here. I think that's the most important thing for me always has been getting the right tools. So having the right screwdrivers, and then we can start. I guess we're gonna start just taking everything out of the box, and then we'll just continue chatting. So this is y-axis. Okay, So let me see if we can like get the first camera here. Just getting all of the boxes out. Just like everything is kind of labeled here. So second, okay, this is probably box number 2. What's here? MK3S fasteners. So let's see. What is this? This is Prusa's test sheet. So this tests that have been done. Usually they put for every printer, they have this sheet here where they like did a few of the checks. If you're buying this printer pre-assembled, this thing is actually quite long because they do like they pre-assemble the printer and then they test everything. And I think this is only testing the electronics without the assembly. So power cable, power supply, plastic parts. Okay. Totally required. Absolutely, we don't want to build this printer without the bears. PLA, spool of PLA for printing. This seems to be the frame and the heat bed. So let's see. And what's this? There's a few more things in here. Motor kit. What's this? Oh, these are metal rods. Probably the, yeah, this is the for the y-axis and the z-axis. Okay. I'm gonna keep the filament here. The box is empty. So we have to see what parts like do we need now. Let's see. We have all this stuff here, and we kind of get it in order, hopefully. Tools a little bit out of the way. So, coming back to you guys, where are you coming from? There's a few more people now coming into the live stream. Is this kit sponsored? No, this kit isn't sponsored. I bought this kit for myself. The reason why I got it is I wanna compare this printer. I wanna have it in my basement with the other printers that I'm running for my little print shop business. And you probably remember that I got the Bamboo Lab. That was a sponsored printer, but I want to compare the Prusa with the Bamboo Lab in the end to see, like, from print quality wise, what can you expect from these two different printers, which are like visually very different, but from a price perspective, they are kind of in the same ballpark, at least the lower end versions. So if you compare the Prusa pre-built kit with the Bamboo Lab standard version without any multi-material, they are kind of priced at the same value so much. What next? What other questions? It's the assembly guide is in English. You have to say when you order the printer. I think what's interesting enough, the 3D printing handbook is in German. So I don't know why they gave me the German handbook for the usage. So it's that comes after the assembly. So like to how to use the printer. This is for some reason they have it in German, but you have to say which language you when you order. And the assembly guide, you can get it in all the languages. And I decided to go for the English version just for the sake of this video. But I think you can get it for every language that you can imagine. Vorone manual is 293 pages long. I can imagine that this is quite long. This is like, I mean, this is half the size then. Vorone probably takes you a few days to build if you're doing it right. Red to red, black to black, blow it to bits. It's an orange, like, yes, of course. Let me see which color, like the printed parts. Of course, I got the orange one. What do you think? I mean, why would I order the black version? Like, I'm very much into black, don't get me wrong, but I love the orange. So let's kick this off. Let's have a few pages into the manual. We're gonna look into the manual now. Here's something like an update of the instructions. Okay. This is at some point in the manual we have to adhere to this one. Steps. How many steps does the manual have? Oh my goodness. This is like this is the index table of contents. Let's start here. So, just to let you know, I never built this printer, so I have no idea what I'm doing here. Totally clueless. I also didn't look into the manual to make this as as honest as possible. Scan the QR code to display the last version of this chapter. We could use the online. We can. I mean, should we use the online version of the manual? I'm not sure. I could do some kind of split screen here to show you the manual while I'm doing it, but it's probably like you can do it yourself. If you want to look in the manual while I'm doing it to help me, I'm going to post you the address here. Prusa3d.com/G7629. Let me see if this is the right page. No, it's not. Just want to give you the why is it not working? That's funny. Choose your printer, handbook. Here we go. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to post the link here. This is the instruction. So if you want, you can go through the online manual together with me just to see what are the required steps and where we are. And then you can also kind of guess how far we are going to be today or where we are. So let me see. Can I show you the screen? Here we go. So this is like where we're starting. All the required tools are included, which is nice. The kit includes all the stuff here, labels guide, spare parts. Yeah, probably coming back to this. Pro tip, inserting the nuts. 3D printed parts are very precise, however, there are still might be tolerances. Okay. Yeah, that's the Prusa method of getting the nuts in, is using another screw and then like pulling the nut into the cavity here. And if it falls out, then we can fix it using some tape. Glue isn't recommended. Let's see if this, like if we have to use tape. Actually, honestly, I don't know if I have some tape here, but let's see. Gonna keep everything protected, keeping the electronics in the bag. And then we want to reward ourselves, which is also nice. Good. Successfully finishing the assembly. Always read the instructions. Good. Next. Not reading the instructions entirely. So what we're building now is, in 39 steps, we're going to build the frame. So, yeah, good to know that the y-axis assembly, this is the frame. And I hope we're going to get where we're going to get the part from. So what do we need? Preparing the components. Aluminum extrusions. 4 times we need those extrusions. And that's where I'm curious. This is probably one part here, part of the frame. So let's get the parts out. So we have a steel sheet. We have a. Ooh, how many sheets? I think this is the textured one. This is the normal one. Later. This is the heated bed. I think we don't need it right now. So this is also for later. This is one part of the frame. Oh yeah. I wasn't actually sure if this would be metal, but it is. Sounds like. That's nice. To be honest, I never had a Prusa i3, so I wasn't really sure whether this would be metal. So we need this later. This is I think this is the holder for the heated bed, the carriage. And what else do we need? So we have this seems to be some spare parts. Guess we don't need this right now. E-axis, X-axis, Y-axis. Yeah. What I'm missing a little bit is if there is, like they mention what they need, but they don't tell you which bag. Okay, since this is like we are talking the Y-axis currently, or the XZ frame, probably have to figure it out myself. So we need aluminum extrusions, 4 extrusions. Where are those pieces? This is plastic parts. This looks like the extrusion box. So this is a front panel, back panel, okay. Coming up later. Here we go. These are the metal extrusions, okay. Good. Let's see. So this is what we need right now. These 4 extrusions. And then we're gonna need a bunch of screws. This time, I will find all the screws. Like we had a live stream once back where there was a bag of screws somewhere on the desk and I didn't find it. That was a running gag. So, how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Yeah, that's gum beer candy. Gum beer candy comes with like Haribo. It comes with the printer. They give you this bag of Goldbeeren, Haribo Goldbeeren to keep us relaxed during the build. That's nice. That's coming with every Prusa printer. So if you ever buy, you gotta get some German Haribo gums. No, I didn't, Marco. I didn't pre-order the Prusa XL yet. I don't have the budget for this. Like, so honestly, I don't have 3,000 euros over for this printer. Honestly, no. I mean, this was expensive enough. I think I paid 750 or so for this kit, which is the original. I think it was kind of discounted because they gave me the second sheet for free, and I think an additional spool of filament was sent to me, but it was kind of I think it was actually before Christmas, which is such a long time ago now. Okay. Then, going back, can you say something about the Bamboo Lab? Is it worth for under 1,500 euros? The thing is, I'm working on the review for the Bamboo Lab. Don't get me wrong. I'm taking a bit longer for the review because the software wasn't ready a few weeks back. It wasn't done, right? So what they sent me was a physically ready printer, but not the software. And Also, they sent me a new AMS just last week, which is the multicolor printing unit. So they replaced it because, oh my god, that train is quite loud. But I had to open the windows today, it's so hot. So they replaced the AMS last week because the old one that they sent me to originally wasn't able to receive firmware updates for some reason. So let's find out what the screws are that we need here. We need M5 by 16 or 16 times. Okay, let me find those first. Here we have 32 times M5 times 16R. I guess this is the right one. So where do we put the stuff so we can still see what I'm doing? Let's switch over to this one. I think it's a little bit too bright here, actually. Is it? Yeah, it's a bit better. Oh yeah, that's much better. What camera I'm using? In the studio, I'm using 3 EOS RP cameras. The cheapest, I think, cheapest full frame camera you can find. Currently it's even cheaper because Canon just released new cameras, and it's like probably if you get this camera used, then it's the cheapest camera that you can ever get for this kind of purpose. So yeah, where would they do? Do we put this on the side and then let's get out the screws? So we don't need everything right now yet. We only need the what is this? M516. This should be these ones here, and we are putting everything back. Let's keep the table clean so we're not losing stuff. So, unfortunately, this is not a zip bag, but yeah, anyway, so we need how many? 16 pieces. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 13, 16. Okay, next step here in the manual is mounting the longer extrusions. Take the longer aluminum extrusions and place them next to the frame. Screws are inserted from the opposite side of the frame. So we're going to keep the orange label here, and then we're using ensure you're using the correct holes. See the second picture. Okay, so it's the oh my goodness, if you look in the manual, there's lots of holes. This has quite a few holes, so I hope I'm gonna do this the right way. Supposedly, yeah, the inner 4 bigger holes, so to say. Here we go. So, coming in from this side, we have 4, and then we want to use the right screwdriver. That's the bigger one here. Yeah, nice. So I'm starting with one of them. And they say do a diagonal tightening. I would definitely agree that this is a good idea. So, oh my goodness, we have trains coming by, so many trains today. The thing is with the studio, I like it a lot, but the other problem here is that we don't have a we don't have air conditioning yet. I have an idea that we will have it at someday in the future, but currently I have to talk to the landlord first, whether we are allowed to install something like that permanently. So we want to get a split air conditioning system and not this, like the cheaper ones where you have the just a hose that's going out of the window. I think it's very inefficient and also pretty loud. So not tightening everything too much yet here. So we can get the last screws in. Easy enough. Give a review of that candy also. No one did that till now. Okay, sure. I'm gonna let you know when in the manual they say, now it's time to eat these gummy bears. And then we'll have a tasting, basically. Haribo Goldbeeren tasting, original German candy. Which is kind of weird because this is a Czech company from the Czech Republic. It's not a German company. Prusa. And I was on a call with some of the guys who run this Discord server for what was it? Print farmers. And print farmers, like this is a group of people who run print farms, small print farms, large print farms, and they visited Prusa factory and they got a private tour. Someone got a very private tour. I wish I would have been with them. I really love that. So for me, I have so little patience for do-it-yourself kit jobs like this. It would be cheaper for me to buy assembled, so I don't have to buy 2 kits after destroying the first one in a fit of rage. No, I don't think this is going to happen here, because if you just a little bit, like patience, of course, is something. You have to be patient to do this, I guess. That's totally right. Let's get a second, like it's very dark in this corner of the room, actually. I don't like that. Better now. I think it's better. Now we have a little bit more light. Can see a little bit better. So that was step 3. I did this, I tightened the screws. Good. Next is these shorter ones. And I'm going to be on the other side of the frame with the rest of the screws. Shouldn't be too complicated, actually. Good. What's your favorite 3D printer so far? I think that changed. That changed over time. Like, I would say probably when I started, of course it was the ANIT. It was the cheapest printer that I could afford. My first one. And then I think at some point I got a few different printers for review also. I didn't like a lot of them. I mean, I did like the Adventure 3. I gave it to a good friend. His son is now learning how to do 3D printing with the Adventure 3. I think they're pretty happy with the printer. I kind of like that printer, but then I think I continued with the Ender. So I would say up to today, the Ender series is still one of my favorite. Not because they are so good, obviously. Because I invested a lot of money into my Ender printers to make them usable for the print jobs that I'm doing currently. And so I would say, yeah, Ender printers are still good because there's a huge community, and that's what, for me, for like someone who likes tinkering, the community around these devices is kind of important. I always wanted a Prusa for some reason. I think there was kind of a hype about Prusa, and still. But when I was first thinking about the Prusa printer, I think it was by far not as professional as today. It wasn't like the instructions and all that stuff. I think now they came to a state where this is really a serious company, and they have a lot of community, and they also support their users, and there's lots of accessories, and like it's probably this thing where at some point you make a choice and then you go into the ecosystem, and then they sent me at some point the Prusa Mini. That was a sponsored review also on this channel, the Prusa Mini. That is a printer I really, really liked right from the start because it was so easy to get it set up. It was super reliable up to a certain point, and then it got all kinds of issues with the extruder. And then I decided to upgrade the extrusion system with a Bondtech ITX, I guess. Someday I'm gonna make a video about this because the ITX it has also the integrated filament sensor that's inside of the extrusion system, which makes it a bit more reliable and also easier to use. And now the Prusa Mini it's like a tank, right? It's a small printer, but it just works. It prints so good. I didn't have any issues with it so far. And I would say when this printer is like coming up to its promises, this might be my next favorite printer. The Bamboo Lab is, I would say currently the Bamboo Lab has a good chance to compete against all of the printers that I have so far, and also probably with the Prusa. That's why I'm building this one, because I want to see, okay, is it really worth building this kind of printer yourself, or maybe getting the kit version, the pre-assembled kit? Can it compete against a more industrialized and ready-to-go printer like the Bamboo? And what I told you last time is, what I didn't know up until last week is that the whole team around Bamboo is ex-DJI employees. And if you know DJI products, then you know why this printer looks like it looks like, and that's also how it works. Like it works like a DJI product. It's hard to explain because if you never used a DJI drone versus a cheap other drone, you know the difference, and you will know why so many people like DJI. And that's the thing that I see with Bamboo. Bamboo is a company, is serious. It's not just some dudes that decided to build a company for 3D printers like the hundreds of other clone ender manufacturers. It's a different story. That's what I see there. So next step in the manual. I have tightened these. We have a final check. Before we proceed, let's make a final check. It is very important to have extrusions on the correct side of the frame. Okay, check, check. Yes. The long ones are on the orange side, and the short ones are on this side. That's correct. Then step 6. These are on this inside and these are on the outside. It's also good. Step 6. Front and rear plate preparation. Okay, that's where we use the other 16 M5 16R screws, and we have front and rear plate. What is the preparation? What do we have to prepare? What is this one here? What's this part here? Ah, okay, I see we need 2 holders. Power supply unit holders 2 times. Looks like these are the parts that we're looking for on camera. Or this one here. So 2 metal, T-nuts. Big, huge T-nuts, I would say. Rest of the screws. And what do we actually prepare is not completely clear to me. Rotate the frame with longer extrusions towards you. Yes. Place the front plate on the extrusion and secure it with M. Okay, we're gonna take this one here. Smaller one. Put it here in the front. We'll put in the screws. Where's my screwdriver? Ah. Where did I put it? Ah, put it back into. Ah, put it back. So, yeah, that's a bit finicky here. I have to way to hold it at the same time when you insert the screws. Like, let's do it. Okay. But don't tighten the screws yet. I'm curious why. Why should we not? Don't tighten them yet. Now tighten the screws fully, but on a diagonal. Okay, same as before. Just gonna insert everything and then tighten it up. What are you doing, guys? Everyone okay? Everyone good? Are you fine? Are you still relaxed? What is your favorite 3D printer? Either we got this question already. Did you test the new ByQ H2 V2? Did they fix the gears and went all metal throat? No, I didn't. Honestly, my plans are not to modify my printers again so early, or in the near future. Better to say that. I did a bunch of modifications to my Ender printers recently. You probably have seen the series that I made about the HeroMe. I'm gonna upgrade now to HeroMe 6, and the reason why I'm a little bit reluctant on all of these modifications now is I want to have all of my printers in the same setup. For a specific reason. I want to use the same printing profile with all of my printers. I'm running this little print farm now. And at least for Ender printers, I want to have the same setup on all of the Ender printers and not one extrusion system on the first one and then another one the second one. And then if I start print jobs and I want to print the same thing on multiple printers, I cannot do this because it's simply not possible if they have all different setups. That's why I personally not gonna modify those printers in the near future. And if this one here fits well into the print farm and makes a good job, I might probably think about replacing the print farm printers with Prusas and then going back to modifying the Ender printers just for fun. But I need a few reliable printers that I just can hit start and say, I need this print job. It runs 48 hours and it needs to be done reliably and not fail on me. So let's see what this whole, if the fridge works. Is it working? It's supposed to work, right? Ah, let's see. What is this button for? I have no idea. Oh, this is the light switch. This is for... No idea what this is for, actually. Is there some... Yeah, let's see. I mean, let's see how well the cooling works. So, the Bamboo will compete with the Prusa XL. I'm not so sure about that. If Bamboo comes out with a bigger printer at some point, which they probably will, and I have no insights, honestly, but I can guess that this is only the first printer that they come out with. Maybe then. But Prusa has, I mean, the Prusa XL was the print head tool head changing system. I don't think that this is in the same ballpark as the bamboo. Like it's just not a it's just a completely different kind of story. It's also pricing wise, it's like so much different. It's not really in the same league. But this printer here is probably not as good from like the software wise. It's probably not competing with the bamboo, but it's probably with the hardware quality. It's probably at par. We have to find out, honestly. How good is this printer? How good is the bamboo? How good are the rest of my printers? By the way, I told you last week that I'm gonna do this little video where we are going to, together as the community, that means you, we are going to print a few things. Everyone gets to print the same parts, and we still have to decide which ones that are. Like, we have to find a few reference prints that we want to use. I'm going to do a kind of a query on this to the community very soon. Send out an email to everyone so you can answer this if you're subscribed. And I'll ask everyone, or ask a group of people who are like volunteer to help me with this and kind of compete to print these parts that we select as the reference prints. I'm gonna do the same with my printers, with this printer, with the bamboo printer, with my Ender printers. I'm gonna print the very same parts. You're going to print the same parts with the same material, so we have to agree on like which material are we gonna use, because not everyone should use a different material unless it's not comparable. And then I'm gonna send those print models to different 5, 10, depending on how many I can actually use, professional 3D printing services, and I'm gonna compare the results. I'm curious like how good we are against those professional providers. That's my plan. It's gonna coming up in the next coming weeks. I'll let you know. So that's why I want a reliable printer. Yes, I want to have a reliable printer also. And ByQ, the first version wasn't too good for me. I didn't like it so much. I gave it away. Probably the person who has it now is more happy with that, hopefully. I wasn't so happy, and I wanted to have this common setup on every printer. Okay. I have 2 Mark III in an enclosure printing ABS at 50 degrees temperature. That's nice. That's also pretty much why you would use the enclosure. That's good. So the next step here in the manual is this side I did. I'm gonna do the other side now. And on this side, where will I insert those holder pieces? Let me see, where are they gonna go in here? On the left-hand side. Place the PSU holders in the extrusion, or use the side section, ensure it's the correct extrusion, see the picture. Okay, I think we're on the right side here. Inserting these T-nuts, 2 of them on the left-hand side. And then we're gonna assemble the plate to the frame. So far, it's not really complicated. Manual is pretty good. No questions from my side, at least. The Bruiser. Have to run for now. Catch up with the recorded stream. Yeah, just watch the stream later on the channel. It's going to be available as soon as the stream ends. I think the chat takes another day. So don't get confused if you don't see the chat for another day. That's how YouTube works. They are pretty fast with making the video available, but they're pretty slow for some reason to make the chat available. So next day, you're probably also able to see the chat messages in parallel with the video. So it's, I think it's a much nicer interaction experience because you can see what people actually have written in the chat versus, yeah, just seeing the video and then you're wondering why, where's the chat messages? What is he talking about? So that reminds me of the fact that I have a bot running on the channel and that I wanted to change some of the settings, but probably we don't have to. Today, at least, we're not running a raffle or something that we would need the bot so much for. So, Piotr, I sold my modified version of the Ender 3 Pro with linear rails and the BikeU H2 and waiting for my Prusa. I see a pattern here. Jamie loves his Mini Plus. Yeah, that's really nice. Hers, I don't know, Jamie. Actually, I want to ask you a question, because that came up not here, not on YouTube. And honestly, I watched just a few recent videos from other people, and they still use the term guys to talk to the audience. So they say, hey guys. Like, I think it used to be quite normal to do that, but now it's like considered, at least at my employer, it's not considered to be inclusive anymore. And I kind of agree, because it's like, I mean, it's a male term. Not want to run a discussion now about this, but I'm just curious, like, what do you think about it? Like, I just say, okay, I want to be inclusive, but on the other hand, I read different things about it. Like, I read about that term and say it's now considered to be neutral. But on the other hand, it's not considered to be neutral. So I'm a little bit confused. What's the real thing? Like, how is it inclusive? Is it exclusive? Say, hey guys. I can also say, hey everyone. Like, I think I've changed myself already a little bit towards that. That's just a question. I think calling us guys is fine, I guess. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, we are making the assumption that probably 99% of the audience is male, which could be true, but if I look in my statistics for the channel, it's a few percent, and I have to look it up, honestly, a small percentage, but it's not zero, and it's bigger than 1% is female, which I say, hey, that's good. I like that, because it's, at least there is a few women in the audience, which is not, like, it's probably still early days. But I would love to see more women in the space, like, just honestly saying, like, it's just like good for the community, and there's probably like a bigger community as soon as they also start making content. I saw a few content creators, female, that also are into 3D printing now, and I was like kind of surprised to see that, and I'm also happy, because it's like just growing the community in every direction. Hey everyone, yeah, hey people. I guess dudes is dudes is probably not so good. I mean, I don't like that so much. Okay. I hear girls say hey guys to their girlfriends. Yeah, but probably not. Yeah, it's just in the language. It's somehow implanted for a lot of people. They just use it and they don't think so much about it. And then at some point, I know someone comes and say, hey, this is not inclusive. I can say, like, oh, what? Okay, I kind of get it. It's like, if you look at the word literally, it's not inclusive, but yeah, I think we can improve. So let's go to the next step. We did the rear plate assembly, pretty much done with step 10. Y-axis geometry check. Before you proceed further, please place the frame on a flat surface, which I hope I have. This is crucial. Okay. All the components are cut drilled by machine for highest precision. Try to wiggle the frame side to side and check whether some of the front or back corners are lifting up or not. Check the front and back corners only as the frame itself doesn't touch the surface. In case you find some imperfections, release the screws, press the extrusions against the flat surface and tighten them again. Good. Let's do this. Let's wiggle the frame. I mean, sounds like it's not any imperfections as they call. I mean, like if I really enforce it, it's gonna start like, but it's not wobbling or will. To me, this looks pretty good. The question is, yeah, I mean, you can enforce it to come off the table, but it's like if you just try to wiggle it around, it's not making any noises, so it's not going to release from the surface. So it sounds pretty straight. Some people hate inclusive language. Well, I can't say that I hate it. I'm just saying that it is probably like every generation has its own terms that they use, and now it's probably another change happening. Like there is some like cultural changes, and people agree. Sort of like young people agree on a certain common language, right? So when we were young, and you probably remember, certain terms were like common in your community, and now we look back and say, hey, we used to say X, Y, Z all the time. Now there's another term for that. And I think at that time it was probably also not inclusive to use these things, to these words, because outsiders wouldn't know what that means. Or your parents wouldn't know what that means, or someone else wouldn't know what that means. So this repeats with every generation. That's how I see it. Yeah, we need to get a fresh drink from the fridge. Good one. Oh yeah. I like it. I like this really. This is. We need to fill it up a bit more, so it's more efficient. If there's more in the fridge, once it's cooled down, then it's going to be very more efficient. The cable, though, I don't like it here so much. It's like somewhat in the frame here. We need some extension. Anyways, got this a cooler a few weeks back. It's coming from Belgium, I guess. So it's a Xbox gaming company, and they sell this thing. I was like, I must have this. I'm a huge Xbox fan. I'm also a huge PlayStation fan, but kind of wanted to start. I always wanted to start a gaming channel. Then I started a gaming channel, and then I didn't have the time for the gaming channel. It's just too much. It's just too much for me. Probably gonna play some games on my gaming channel at some point again. Some of us are too old to change. You will misalign when you tighten the screws. I guess this is good enough. This is good enough. Good. Next steps here in the manual. The geometry check, we did the mounting anti-vibration feet optional. Yeah, why not? Why not? We recommend mounting the feet now to protect the surface on your table. However, you need to lift the frame up before each turn. There will be, that is a good question. How much does it scratch my... Oh, yes, it scratches my working surface. I like this working surface a lot, but I also not too much like having so many scratches here, because it's more of a visual backdrop for the channel. Let's put the feet on then. So How do they insert? Just like this. Okay, we're just inserting and turning them. Aren't there any in the middle? Obviously not. But the frame should be stable enough. So even if there's pressure in the middle, it's now in the air, up in the air, lifted, and it should be, now it's pretty stable. Doesn't move around. What next? If we continue at this pace with the chat, me not stopping talking, we're gonna take a longer, much longer. So, prepare the Y belt idler. Is this in its same bag? M3 18, M310. M3N what is this? I see. M3 lock nut. Nylock. M3N nut. 623H. Idler? Or bearing housing. Yes. Yeah, it's all in here. It's supposed to be in here. Preparing the belt idler. But I guess this is a printed part, so it's probably in the box of printed parts. Here we are. So you see, this is orange and black. There's also a black version of this printer, but that doesn't look so cool. So what are we looking for? I think this is the part I'm looking for, the Y belt idler. Good. Let's keep everything together. The M3 18 screw. Oh my goodness. There is so many screws in this little bag here. So many. They are different lengths. Good. So there's longer ones, shorter ones. Nylock nuts. We need one. And we need one of the longer screws. We need two of the shorter ones. And we need this part here. Long screw. So I got a Red Bull mini cooler for $20 at a swap meet. Yeah, that's nice. I like those. Are you doing it fully in the stream? Jamie, I don't know honestly if I'm gonna make it in the time that we have for the stream. We probably will have multiple, I guess we will probably have 2 streams. So this is, we're gonna chat here, we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna talk about things, questions that you have, and if you're not gonna make it, we're not gonna make it, and then we're gonna continue another day. I think it's that's how I see it for now, because I can't honestly tell you how long this will take, because I want to chat with you and I don't want to rush it. And this is not a review, by the way. It's not about making this as fast as possible. I'm searching for a specific here we go. So I noticed it's more of a chat stream rather than a build stream, but I like it. Did you tighten the screws enough yet? Probably gonna tighten them up a bit more later. But I guess from physically, I think they are pretty tight. So I would say not tightening them too much now. For now. Now the funny part is, since I put the rubber feet on, it's actually wobbling a bit. For whatever reason. No idea why. Okay. Suggestions for a 3D version. Starting now, the 3D printing world. I have a second-hand ANIT A8 Plus running a bit bad. Well, it's not a bad printer by default. I would say if you swap out a lot of the parts like the electronics, you can make this ANIT A8 Plus pretty good printer, I guess. Depends how much you want to invest in terms of your time and also money. Of course, a bit of investment will be necessary to make it a reasonably good printer, I'd say. But it's possible. It's absolutely doable. Why is there grease all over the place? Because these things are greasy. Oh my goodness. My table is soaked now. Not good. Let's clean this. It's a bit unfortunate. The grease, I think one of the bags is not sealed or not perfectly sealed, so it stinks a bit. And it's all over the place here. Fine. Nevertheless, let's continue. So we have the Y-belt idler. All the parts I have taken out of the bags here. Preparing it, we're gonna insert those M3M nuts on the top. Good. And then we'll have to probably tighten them in a little bit using the Prusa method. Prusa method is gonna insert the screws and then we're gonna tighten the one of the screws here, just pulling in the nut into this little hole until it sits and stays in this plastic part. Then we can remove the screw again, so that the nut's probably staying in, which is the case, which is good. So that means we don't have to use any tape or glue. That's the step here. What's next? Preparing the Y-belt idler part 3. I think we have to insert the prepared bearing in the Y-belt idler. Okay. I'm still on step number 2, getting the screws in place and also nuts. Still trying to pull in this one M3 nut here. Why is it not working? Okay, still on step 2, trying to get the nut pressed into the cavity here, into the hole. Trying a different method now. Screwdriver works. Good. So that step is done. Next step is fixing the idler into its place. Using the, I think it's the, it's not using this nylock nut. Insert the prepared bearing in the Y-belt idler. Bearing housing orientation doesn't matter. Secure the bearing with the M318 screw. Don't fully tighten the screw. Okay, there's no additional nut being used for this, is it? Oh, there is. There is. I forgot about this. Okay. Gonna insert this one also. Good. Did you tighten the screws? The problem is it likes everything comes out as a sprung. What do you mean? Maybe I didn't get the joke. Is Prusa PTG Prusa Slicer with Prusa Mini Plus just going to work? It's not in there. The screw is not in its place where it's supposed to be. At least the nut is not in the right place now. Go in there. Okay, what was the question? Is Prusa PTG Prusa Slicer with Prusa Mini Plus just going to work? Yes. I've done it so many times. I've printed so much stuff with the Prusa Mini with PTG. It's simply working. But I just realized that the screw that I'm trying to use is actually too short. There's an even longer one here. Just a bit longer. That should work. So, yeah, the only thing that I did for the Prusa Mini in the meanwhile, I replaced the extruder system. So the original extruder is not a double extruder, or sorry, double geared extruder. It's a single geared extruder. It works for most part, and for me it worked quite a long time, and then it's like it started grinding. I cleaned it multiple times. I don't know what happened, but probably I also was like pushing the limits of the machine a bit harder, printing longer, printing more, and so I ran into some issues, and I decided that I'm gonna replace the extruder on the Mini with the Bondtech ITX, and that's a pretty good. That was a pretty good decision. It was really giving me much better results now and more reliable printing results. So I really like the setup how it is now. It works perfectly. It's another, of course, it's not too cheap, but it's also very compact, and it also includes it will remove this bulky filament sensor into the extruder, which is also pretty nice. Yeah, if it wobbles, like you can sand the rubber feet. Yeah, probably it's just about where you put it on the table. At the moment, I think it's good, not wobbling. So, preparing the idler, I think we're done. I did this step here. I've assembled this. It's now done. Or is it? Here we go. So this is how it looks like now. It's assembled. It should be working. So, next step. Mounting the Y-belt idler. Rotate the frame with longer extrusions towards you. Take the Y-belt idler and place it on the front plate. There is a mark on the printer part. It's facing up. Yes, I see that. So, that's what we're gonna do. Maybe you can see it from this side here. This part is essentially facing up. There's a little mark here. I'm going to use 2 screws here, 2 M10, to fix it to the frame. Now it's wobbling. Why is it wobbling now? It looks like my table is actually not flat. Not very good. Not very good. Strange. So we probably will, I will put this on a very straight surface just to double check that the whole frame is really flat. So maybe it's my table, but I guess it's rather the rubber feet now, because when I had the rubber feet off, it wasn't wobbling so much. So got this one fixed. Then the Y-axis motor and motor holder. We need the motor. There is a specific bag for this. Let me find it. I think there was some bag marked fasteners. Motor kit. Here we go. Here we have the motors. That's the motor kit. That's the Z-axis lead screws. And then we have 3 motors in here. They are probably marked differently. Extruder. Yeah, this is the extruder motor. It's written on the motor, which is pretty nice. Y-axis. Which one do we need? A Y-axis. Okay, so this one is the Y-axis motor. Good. What else? Y-axis motor, M10 screw. We need 4. And 2 nuts, normal ones. No nylock nuts here. And then we need a printed part. Looks like an L bracket. Probably this one here. Good. So the motor will be mounted. I think we got all the parts that we need. And then we're going to assemble, like put the nylon, no, it's not nylon nuts. We'll put the nuts here in the printer part one more time. Press them in. This is pretty tight actually. So it's a little bit unfortunate. Am I doing this right? No, I'm not. It's the wrong place. So you see, reading the manual is good. It's good to read the manual. Getting the stuff in the right place. I think I need a different screwdriver here. This one maybe. Yeah, this looks much better. This is good. So we can push it in and at the same time get it straight. That's perfect. Okay. Handle for this. So, nuts are in. Preparing the motor holder. And then the second step, take the motor holder and insert 2 screws. Which orientation? Cables showing this direction. Okay. Good. So, we're fixing this bracket to the motor. This looks about right. Okay. Just double checking the orientation. Good. Next. Mounting the Y motor holder. Take the Y motor holder and place it on the rear plate. Short extrusions. Good. And ensure the correct orientation. The motor shaft must be facing towards the aluminum extrusion with the PSU holders. That looks about right. So here's the motor. I'm going to hold it against the frame, and then we're going to reinsert the frame, the screws here from this side. And that should be enough to fix the motor. So, how is everyone doing? Just checking with the chat. We have, I think, 17 viewers currently on the stream. I think the maximum was 28. Probably everyone realized that this is going to take longer. But anyways, I'm happy to do this. So I would say this time it's more about I am building the printer just for myself, and you're kind of joining me. So if you're late joining, I'm building the Prusa i3 MK3S Plus. And if I look at the time, I'm probably not gonna make it today. But we have, like, you can watch the video later on demand. And if we are not going to finish this today, I'll let you know when we do the next one. So, but I'm super pumped to be able to do this here on the stream. Let's have a look at the next step. I fixed the motor. It's facing in the right direction. Step 19, Y axis Y carriage. So I saw this part already. It's in one of the boxes here. So this is the part. Wrong direction. Let's put it here. This is the part which we need. This is actually pretty thick. If I remember from my ANET times, the Y carriage was probably half the thickness. This looks about. This is, how much is this? Looks like 6 millimeters. Yeah, about 6 millimeters thick. That's a heavy part. I guess the ANET version of this is like 2 millimeters or something. It's very thin, maybe 2.5. Ali Mohammed Mojarat, it's literally 11:55 p.m. here, and I'm watching this rather than sleep. Oh, that's I'm honored. Thank you. No, really, I like it that you're joining me here. So let's continue. Ali Mohammed, tell me where you're from. You're probably in like if it's 11:55. Is it like, is it Saudi Arabia or something? 2 hours, or which country are you from? I'm curious. So we have the bearings. Which are super greasy. I probably have to get some, I don't know, some towels, so we don't have grease all over the place. I'm not so much into having grease on my table, but I need to find a paper towel quickly. Let me check. Okay. At least I found some. Good. So let's collect all the parts now, and I'll make sure that at least there is not huge amounts of grease on my table now. Because these parts are in these little plastic bags, but they're kind of soaked in grease. How am I supposed to open this? Probably with my knife. And then carefully not touching too much the stuff here. It's just this, I mean, this is going to be all over the place otherwise. Okay, so this is something for the waste bin. I think I'm gonna put it in the waste bin right now, the plastic bags, because is so much oil here. It's like, it's really nasty stuff. I mean, I get it, it's necessary, but it's also pretty nasty. Gonna put this away right into the trash can. So. Good. So, super oily linear bearings. I guess they don't have to be oily on the outside, at least. Not so much. We have a wire carriage. We have 3 linear bearings. We have bearing clips, 3 pieces. Yes, we have 3 bearing clips. We have 6 nylon nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need M3 by 12 screw. Gonna zoom in a bit here for you. M3 by 12, 6. This were the medium-sized ones. Now I get it. 6 times. Seems to be this is all of them. Or maybe there's a few more here. Could be. Okay. So I'm just collecting all of the parts now for this next step. Printer's package contains lubricant, which is intended for maintenance. No need to use it now. Okay, good. So we got all the parts. Correct bearing orientation. Placing bearings onto the wire carriage, make sure that they are oriented as shown. So I guess makes sense. Because there is these little holes here where these are to be placed, so they fit in there just perfectly. They just sit in these little holes, and I mean you cannot misorient those linear bearings. That just will not fit in another direction. Wondering if the Y carriage has any like orientation, which one is up or down. I think either side will work. It seems to be symmetrical. Yeah, seems to. So next step here is to, what is wrong here? The incorrect orientation. Avoid placing the bearing like in the last picture. This orientation with a single line with a single row of balls in the center of the hole will later increase the wear of the smooth rod, possibly creating a groove in it. So we are supposed to look inside and not having these directly facing down. So the correct orientation is that these are somewhat angled to the side. I see. I mean, this is a step you don't want to get wrong, right? So I'm using my phone light just to make sure I'm orienting those correctly. That looks good because I'm looking in from the side and I see these the bearings are oriented in the right way. So that's good. Please tight the Y clips very well. So yeah, let me know what that means. The Y clips, what is the Y clip? Let me know. Means orient the actual bearings, not just holders. Bearings should be X and not plus. Yeah, so I think it got the idea how this orientation is supposed to be, that the bearing is actually not like having these little, the bearings or the row of balls shouldn't be centered down, but it should be more a little bit to the side, right? So every row of balls should be here on the left side or on the right hand side. So I think I got this right. And then next step seems to be just tightening those to the carriage using the screws. Place the bearing clip over the bearing, insert the two M312 screws here. I guess this is something I can absolutely do. Hopefully not making any mistakes here. Good. Is this working? Or is it not? The weird thing is now that there should be probably some threads here. The question is the threading on the other side? Where is the side with the threads? And is there an upper side and the lower side of this whole frame? So does it have a specific side up or down? I'm wondering. Doesn't say that the X or the Y carriage has a specific upper or lower side. So it doesn't really tell me which side of the frame is up. Good, but let's anyway try to tighten the screws here. So using these clips are going over the bearings, and then I have to fix those with the M3 by 12 screws. But the question for me is, how am I supposed to hit? Is there any thread? Doesn't look like. It's a bit strange. Oh. Yeah, let's start with one. But the thing is, I guess there should be some threads here, right? Yeah, and now we use there's no threads. The idea is that we use the nylock nuts. That makes that makes sense that we only start with one. But then we have to double check the orientation now that I haven't turned the bearing. So it's still the right orientation. It's a little bit misaligned now. So looking through here, then you can see you can't see it now, but I have to double check the orientation of this bearing so it's These little balls are not centered. And I think I need some, what am I using here? Yeah, crimp gripper. There should be a gripper here somewhere in this box, some tools. Actually, I didn't see them yet. I was wondering, where have they put the screws? Here we are, the tools are here. Okay, so we have a little gripper. That's nice. Quality-wise, it seems to be good. So, fixing those nylock nuts now. Yeah, JTN, thanks for the tip. I need the nylock nuts. That's why it's good to have you, the chat, so you can double check for me, go through the manual with me. So, triple checking orientation, not perfect. It's not perfect. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be at least somewhat not centered. And yeah, okay, now it seems to be good. Okay, so we're gonna repeat this. Orange parts, guys. Why do you think I'm using black parts? It's of course it's the orange version. Guys. Everyone, people of the internet. That's why it's hard to say not guys, but like, hey, people. So, I think I need to speed up. Somehow I need to speed up. I'm super slow. Yes, get in. Why is this not getting in? Come on. Please. Okay. Good. I think I'm gonna check the orientation in a second, almost before. I want to build a clone zombie hedgehog. Yeah, I know there's on AliExpress, there's pretty cheap clones of the Prusa. Since it's an open source printer, it's not, you can do this, you can build a clone easily. If I would build a clone of this, I would probably not use the original mainboard. I'm not sure what the Triangle Lab kit contains in terms of the mainboard. If it's already a 32-bit or if it's like really, like very much following the original list of parts where it's an 8-bit mainboard. Which isn't, it's not a problem, in my opinion, using the 8-bit mainboard. But it's also not, of course, it's not really up to date. It still works, but of course there could be better solutions nowadays. I'm pretty sure that Prusa somewhat is working on a 32-bit version of this mainboard, or they have it already. I mean, they have it. They have the body board for the Prusa Mini, which is a 32-bit mainboard. And honestly, I'm still wondering why they didn't yet create an upgrade for this printer, so you can get an upgrade mainboard for the Prusa i3 just to run it with the body board. That's what I quite don't understand. But anyways, I guess at some point in the not too far away future, they probably gonna have something like that, and then have a, I don't know, Prusa i4. And then this is probably gonna have 32-bit board. And then, like every other previous generation, there's probably gonna be some upgrade available. You only like newer TMC drivers? Yes, probably. That's another good point. Why not go for a newer TMC and then also having? Oh, this is already aligned perfectly. Don't have to do anything here. So, I mean, the TMC drivers make sense to me. I'm just saying 32-bit makes even more sense to me because it's going to support things like Ethernet, network printing, and especially like on the Prusa Mini. I mean, what's great about the Prusa Mini? It has an Ethernet port. It doesn't have Wi-Fi, but that's not so important to me. But it has an Ethernet port, and you can use it with Prusa's remote printing software, which is still a beta software. Some people that I've met in this print farmers community, they have the beta version already. I don't have the beta version. I would love to have the beta version, but I think they're not taking any more people into that. And what's great about this feature, or having a mainboard with an Ethernet port, is it's not much more expensive than the old 8-bit, even if probably not even more expensive for Prusa to make these mainboards. And on the other hand, you don't need a Raspberry Pi to do remote printing, right? So that's the great thing. So if you have the body board on a Prusa Mini Plus, you can just print remotely without any further additional software needed, and also no additional hardware. So which makes it a really compelling combination, I'd say, in terms of money that you have to invest. Okay, next steps are coming up. So we installed the bearings. I made sure that the orientation is right. Now, inserting smooth rods into the Y carriage. Take all the smooth rods and compare their length. For Y carriage, you need mid-size rods. Please be very careful with it. Okay. So, there is a little tube here which contains the different rods. So, it's like a poster tube. So we have different rod sizes here. Is this also greasy like crazy? No, they are clean. At least those are clean. So there's different length, as they say. There's probably one missing. What else is in here? This is cable wrapped tubes. That's it. So I guess I'm gonna leave those cable wraps in here for a bit. So we have 3 different sizes, and we are supposed to use the bearings are lubricated like crazy. These ones here. These bearings are lubricated. Actually, my table was full of oil and stinks pretty much still. So yes, they are lubricated, so you don't have to do it now. And now we are in step 22 of the second chapter, which is the Y-axis assembly. I guess since we are going pretty slow today, the The manual actually says we don't have to lubricate because it's pre-lubricated. So we have the different sizes. I'm going to take the middle, as in the instructions, I'm going to take the middle size here. Yes. These two here. And they are supposed to be inserted into those linear bearings. So 330 length, triple check. Yes, so I'm going to insert them here. And they should slide in pretty much without any resistance. Yes. Sounds good to me. The question is, if you tell me lubricate them, should I do it before inserting the rods or afterward? Here is a little bag which contains the lubricant. Prusa lubricant. It looks a bit like it's supposed to be... I need to use this little tool here, I guess, to do the lubrication. And the applicator set. So this looks like a little, I don't know. Oh, it has little holes here. So that's probably like supposed to be inserted into the bearings. Ouch, that's dry. Do you think from the sounds of it, right? Okay, so let me know how to do this. I guess I'm gonna screw this on the lubricant tool here. It's just a guess, but it looks right to me. And then we have this little tool here, which is supposed to... Oh, the problem is it doesn't really go in completely because I probably have to remove them. But on the other hand, I'm wondering if we can just like take a little kind of a... I don't know, some piece of paper, let's lubricate that and then put it in, right? Oh my goodness. So, I'm just double checking how the lubricant looks like. So it's very, very oily. Oh no, it's pretty much, it doesn't look oily. It's like more like fat. Yeah, that's just, I think that is doable. So I'm just gonna put it on this little paper towel and then I'm gonna just turn it inside of the bearing. So put it in there. Just like, I think that's what's supposed to happen here. Then we're gonna like put it in here and then repeat that process for the other ones. So we have the inside already a little bit lubricated with this fat. It's more like, it's not oily, it's more like a fat. Yeah, the grease is probably good, and from if you could really tell already from the sound, I trust you, because if you have more experience than I have with this, I'm totally for the grease. And let's use it. Let's just do it. Use a little bit more grease here. So this looks okay to me. My fingers are pretty greasy now, but doesn't matter. Okay, so I guess now from white lithium grease. Okay, sounds interesting. So we can always add a bit more later. I don't know if it sounds better, although I have no idea. But it doesn't ripple that much, at least. But this other one still makes a little bit of a weird rippling sound, like doo-doo-doo-doo. Maybe we can lubricate it even more. But this one, I mean, honestly, these are very smooth. So these two here seems to run very smooth, but this one is like still rippling a bit, it's like making a little bit of a noise. And you can feel it. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep it as it is, and we can always put more grease on later. No problem, I guess. My goodness, so much on my table now. Probably have to use alcohol later to clean this up. Anyways. Okay, let's go. Good. So, just had to moderate a few chat messages. Then we are fine for next step, I guess. Y-axis smooth rod holders. For the following steps, please prepare Y-rod holder 4 times. 4 times. M3 by 10 screw 12 times. M3NS nut 12 times. So, I'm curious. Where are these parts? We have this this bag here with the printed parts. We need 4. I guess this is what we're looking for. 4 of these rod holders. That's 4 times the same part. Looks like this is the white one here. We have 4 rod holders. We have M3 by 10 screws, 12 pieces. Let me check. 1, 2, 3. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 times I've got those screws here. And then we have another 12. What are these nuts? Is the special ones? Yeah, squared. I see. So everything is here. Looks fine. 12 nuts, 12 screws. What next? Preparing the Y-rod holder. So the idea is that we are inserting these special nuts into the holder, pressing them in. So luckily I don't have to, I think I don't have to use pliers because it's going in very easily. Easy enough at least. So I'm doing this step for all of the pieces. Hey, we're still live. Yes, yes, yes. Takes a while to build this printer. Welcome back, Sarand. It's 10. It's almost 10 p.m. here in Germany. We're still live. Since 2 hours now. We're pretty much relaxed, chatting a lot. And I'm preparing for step 24 of the Prusa build. So if you want to follow the build, if you want to follow where I am, I'm currently here. Don't know if this is except like Z, Y to Y-axis assembly, step 24. The washing machine, no, it is a train. I have my windows open currently because it was very hot in this room, and the studio is close to the train tracks. So if you're here, and then usually when the windows are closed, it's you can't hear anything from the outside. But since we have tropic summers and it's super hot during the day, very uncomfortable, then you have to open the windows, and that's why you can hear these trains coming by sometimes. I hope it's not too distracting, but we don't have air conditioning yet here. I'm thinking about how we could get this, because it requires some allowance from our landlord. I'm currently checking that, if they will allow us to do this, because it needs to be mounted on the outside of the building. It's probably not, they probably have to double check if they want this, and it's not our building. Good. Streaming and building is slow, I know. It's pretty slow, but no matter, I mean, I don't have, like, if I would want to make this a quick build, I wouldn't have done a live stream, obviously. So, preparing the holder. Let's check all the steps. I've done this. I'm doing the side insertion now. Pressing that in. Hopefully, yeah, that works. Okay. So, number 3. And the last one. Very hot in England. Yes, I hear that it's a very hot summer everywhere in Europe, especially. There's also fires in Spain and France. Yeah, no wonder. I mean, it was super dry the last couple of weeks, so I can imagine that it's quite dangerous to be like making some fire in the woods or camping or stuff. People will still do this, and then there's probably going to be some accidents. So I hope this is fine now. Next step, double check the alignment with the 2mm Allen key. Probably in this bag. So that's a bag of Allen keys. It's probably a 2mm. This is probably the right one. That's the 2.5. So let's see. This is good. Seems to be working fine. It's another train coming by. Oh, this is not good. It's not perfectly inserted. Now it's much better. Yeah. I think it's still good. This could be sometimes. I guess these printed parts aren't perfect, but it's still very good. Okay. Any polymaker? I don't know. Probably not. How comes that you opted for a Prusa? Thought you were an Ender kind of guy. Yes, I've got this printer. I think I bought it in I think it was actually before Christmas. I think, if I remember correctly, it was Black Friday sale last year. Because I always wanted to have a Prusa. I wanted to know how it is. Like, how good is this printer? How easy is it to build? What's the quality of the result? And that's why I want one, just to compare with my Ender printers, and also to like have this printer enter our little contest that we are doing, versus running this printer versus the print farms. And so that's why I'm building it. So I think that we're probably gonna continue streaming for about another hour and see how far we can get. Still, this is already 2 hours of streaming, so, but we can probably continue doing this for another hour before it gets very late here, and probably gonna have some tiredness kicking in. But yeah, so my guess is next week we're gonna continue building this and hopefully finishing that. But then you will know how long it takes you if you're streaming at the same time. Everyone should own a Prusa. I need to get one. I like it. So far, I like it. I mean, the Prusa Mini I like a lot, so I think it's one of the best entrance level printers that you can get. Mounting the wire rod holder parts. Place the wire carriage on a flat surface. I've done this already. I have it. Push the wire rod holder on the rod. Align the front surface to the plastic part with the flat surface of the rod. Check the correct position. The screw hole must be facing up and on the inner side. Repeat these steps for the remaining holders. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to look like. I'm going to push them on for all of the rods. Facing up, inside, and then like same on the other side. Okay. Align the front surface of the plastic part with a flat surface. Okay, so this is pretty much aligned here. So that's how it looks now. Check it out. So here we go. These are the front parts. So these, I just inserted these little rod holders. And now I'm doing this for the other side. And it's probably going to mount on the frame. So at least from a frame perspective, we're pretty much, yeah, I think we're pretty much done. Repeat the steps for the remaining wire rod holders. Okay, let's do this. When you have a Prusa, you don't want to go back to an Ender. That's the problem, probably. You get used to it, and then you don't want anything else anymore. I hear that from other people, and there's reasons for that. I mean, it depends how much for what you need the printer, right? Do you convert an Ender 3 or do you convert an Ender or the Prusa to the new E3D Revo? Maybe. Maybe. Not decided on this yet. So next step here, installing the Y Carriage. Take the Y Carriage, including smooth rods with the rod holders, and place them in YZ frame. Make sure that 2 bearings are on the left side. Secure each front holder with 2 screws. So let's see if I can show this on camera. So the idea is that we're gonna place those, oh my goodness. Now the rod is really going very smooth. Too smooth. So, okay, the idea is that we're gonna place it left-hand side with 2 holders and right-hand side with 1. So, this is how it's supposed to look like. And now we are going to fix this to the frame. So there is a specific, that's the good thing, there's a specific point where this locks in place so it doesn't wobble. And now we can fix it here completely with the screws. So let's have a look how this is done. On the front side, we use 2 screws here from the front, and then we use this to tighten like the rod holder. I would say starting with securing, we're going to do this. So securing this from the front. I'm not tightening the screws yet, just putting them in very gently. So this is locked in place, doesn't move anymore. So this side is fixed. Other side comes up now. Same procedure on this side, with the difference that here there's no rails fixing this part. It's just the screws. So, almost done here. This one doesn't seem to fit so well. I mean, at least from the alignment point of view, it should be aligned like on the other side, but its screw doesn't go in for some reason. Why is it not working? Oh, it's just had not grabbed the nut, but it's now working. Okay, so it's, let me check, but it runs pretty smoothly, I guess. So equally on each side. So I'm carefully going to tighten the screws now so we don't overdo it. One by one. Because what I've seen on other printers, when you do this, when you start tightening those screws, it's probably creating some stress on the rods, and then suddenly there is more and more resistance in the movement. That's at least what I've seen with my AM8 build. I had some issues there with the rod's not running smoothly, and then I had to readjust multiple times. But that's like how it goes if you have no helpers in terms of the alignment like you have here. when you get a V-core or a Voron and everything else is just old. Well, the question is like why do you need the Voron? Is it because it's just a technically a better printer? Is it really is it the thing that you need, or is it just cooler? Because if you think about it, the Voron, it's probably a really good printer. Like it has all the features that everyone wants. It's printing fast, but it's also very expensive. So the question is like, where's your priorities? Do you need a fast printer, or do you need a reliable printer? For me, the reliability is the more important part of it. It's not for me. It's mostly not about print speed, right? So I don't care too much about it, how long it takes to finish something. I rather care about when it's printing, that it prints reliably for like maybe even days. And if that's true for a printer and the quality of the results is good, I don't care if it's Core XY or Belt Slinger or whatever. That I don't care too much about that. There is certain parameters for everyone. Like everyone does want different things with their printers, right? So I'm not saying that Voron is not good, but I'm just saying that I don't necessarily need a Voron. I might want to build one, but the thing is, in the end, the question like, why would I want it? Does it help me with my print farm in any way? Okay. Paul, quality is way better on a Voron. Tried it against Prusa M Mark III. Voron does not even have a filament sensor. I didn't know that, honestly. You can only print fastest PLA. Yeah, might be. That's what I say. Like, that's why I'm curious how good the Bamboo Lab is with different materials. I'm currently just midway into like testing all kinds of materials with the Bamboo Lab. I'm still testing PLA, but the next will be the carbon fiber material, and then I'm going to test the TPU, the ABS, ASA, all kinds of stuff, just to see, because it has the carbon version, it has the high temperature nozzle. So I will see how good that printer is, and if you look inside, it's like it looks a lot. There's lots of things that remind me of the Voron. The thing is, like, one thing to mention here about the Bamboo printer, it has an interesting feature now, which wasn't there in the beginning. It was always on the to-do list, so to say, for Bamboo team, but it is now visually checking the first layer. So first layer is printed, and then the printer goes over the first layer and makes photos of the first layer, and then it tells you there's issues with your first layer or not. And depending on the result of that visual scan, it will continue printing or it will pause the printing, and it will ask you if it should continue printing. And if you think the first layer is bad, it's not going to, like, you can just stop the print. And tell me if there's any other printer that does it. I was just seeing that and say, what? Okay, good. Let's see what's next in the series of things to do. So I've done all of this. I've installed these screws here. I've tightened them. I've also tightened the holders. I have done all of this. Okay. Aligning the rods, ensure that they are slightly loosened so the printed parts are able to move the carriage back and forth across the entire length. Yes, I've done that. So this is really moving without any resistance. It's not changing. It's always consistently. Yeah, so the force is consistent. Really nice. Next step here, aligning. I think that's done here. Okay, tighten all the screws. I think I've done that. Assembling the Y motor pulley. There is a flat part on the motor shaft rotated similarly to the first picture. See the direction of the arrows. What? Okay, I get it. Leave a gap. One of the screws must be facing directly against the flat part. Let's do this. That's the easy thing. So this is the pulley. Flat part of the motor shaft is facing up in this case. Just gonna make one side matching with that. Probably need a smaller one here. Yeah, this one's working. So we have the flat parts showing up, and then we have a little gap here. That's so we don't touch the motor with the pulley. It should be aligned now. We can turn it a bit and then tighten up the other screw. So there's a tiny gap, so you can't see it, but in the instruction it says like don't like push it against the motor, and I've just kept a slight gap here, just a very small one. There's a trick that works also pretty well. You can use a zip tie, put it in between, and then tighten it up. So zip tie is always a good tool to keep a little bit of a distance here. Looks fine to me. So assembling the pulley, we have tightened this screw. I've turned the motor. Second screw is tightened. Assembling the belt. For the following steps, please prepare the Y belt holder. We have a smaller of two, just a small part, and the second part. So these two plastic parts I have found. Then we have a long screw here. So I'm just double checking if I have all the parts. So good thing is that exactly the parts that are left from this bag are exactly the part that we need for this last step. Like, so we have all the screws here. We have all the plastic parts here. We have the belt. Y belt. Good. So that's it for the Y parts that we need. Assembling the belt. So take the Y belt holder, smaller of the two printed parts. I'm going to insert a normal nut here. Looking at this side. And pressing that one in. And then we have the second nut here, which is a nylock nut, which goes into the second hole. We're also going to press that in. I have this little screwdriver here, which is perfect for this because it's helping me to align the part, this lock nut, and I can also at the same time press it in. It's going to center it pretty nicely. So these two are inserted, and then we have assembling the belt. Bend one end of this belt around an M3x10 screw. Okay, do this. Okay, let's do this. Make sure the bent part and the end are within the width of the printed part. Okay, so we're bending this, and then we are inserting it like this. Looks nice. Hey everyone, by the way, I'm still watching the chat. I'm currently very focused now on this part of the build, honestly. So I'm trying to get this last few steps done. Finishing the Y-axis belt assembly. For me, it looks like it's all good. Making some progress here. I've inserted the belt as it is in the instructions. And I'm tightening the screws, like I'm right at this step here where I'm inserting the belt into this first holder, and I'm tightening the belt screw. So it's supposed to stay here in place, and then yeah, this looks nice. So first part is done. So my belt holder is holding up really nicely now. So it's like pretty straight, I guess. The teeth are facing up, which is also good. It's correct. This could be in a little bit better here. This could be pressed in a little bit more. So, but this looks good. Interesting way to fix it. I've seen different ways to do this on other printers. So that's what I've done here. I fixed the... So assembling the belt. I think this for the other part. Take the smaller two, bend one end of the belt around, push it in the holder as in the picture. I'm not sure, is this... Yeah, we've done this. And then we're fixing it to the carriage. So looking from the underside, actually, fix the Y belt holder to the carriage, tighten the screw, and ensure the printed part is parallel with the axis between the Y motor and the Y belt idler. Okay. So it is facing away from the idler. So the idler part is here, and this part is like actually facing away. So the belt is like facing in the direction of the motor. Yes, it is. And then it goes around here and it comes back. So let's do this. So idea is that we're gonna like have this facing towards the motor. And we have, like how is it fixed? It's using one screw, obviously. So I'm gonna insert one screw here in this part, and I'm gonna fix it to, the frame is, it's supposed to look towards, like the belt is going towards the motor. And here is a thread in the frame. Now, so there is a thread that's going to hold this part to the frame. So no additional part needed here, except this single screw, no nut on the other side. So I'm going to be careful with tightening that up. So this is like, it's now fixed to this Y-axis carriage. It's going down here, going around the motor idler, and then going back. And the question is it straight? Well, we'll probably have to double check whether this is straight. And then it's going on around the other idler here, the opposite side, coming back here. And then we have to fix it here with the other holder piece. So this is probably the next step here. Okay, sorry for all the long text. Let me see if there's a question, if any comments about the stream. so much work to assemble this printer. I can't believe. Yeah, we are like 2.5 hours into the build. Of course, you would probably be faster doing this on your own without looking at the chat, answering questions, kind of relaxed situation here. So I guess you're probably going to be much faster than me, but I'm not rushing it. Like, I'm enjoying this. So still, probably a few hours to build this. Okay, so we're not yet there, Marcus. We're not there yet. Fixing the, I don't need the printed manual actually. We're not there yet. I have to fix the belt now to the frame with the second belt tensioner. This is this part here, step 33 of hundreds of steps to do. So getting the nut in here as shown in the instruction. And then we are, again doing the same here. We're like inserting the belt into this part and then fixing it. So the actual tightening is, I don't know how it's gonna be tightened. Is there a belt tensioner? Wondering. So this seems to be like this remembers me of the Anit frame. And then how is it actually tightened? Oh, it's movable. Okay, you can move it. I see. So we're first inserting the screw here. So we're first fixing the part and then we're like pulling to tighten it. I guess that there is, I'm not, this is probably not a guess even, it's probably a definite yes that there is for sure modifications for this printer 100% that also have kind of a belt tensioning mechanism that you can just adjust from the outside. I mean, I would be wondering, I would be very much astonished if there wouldn't be something like that. Honestly, probably. So I'm inserting, you can't see this, but I'm just here inserting the belt into this tensioner, and I'm fixing it right now. I'm just inserting it right now, pushing it in. So it is going to hold the belt in this plastic part. It's going to come around. So I'm currently fixing the knot here. So doing this step right now. So probably from this side is better to see. So I have fixed this the belt here into the part. It's actually, we have to push it a bit in so they overlap. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think I kind of missed. It's not really perfectly overlapping right now, which shouldn't be. So we probably have to do this one more time. So putting in the screw here, and then it should be staying overlapped. So it should really, teeth should be overlapping. Then we have to push it in. This is actually not so easy. And another train coming by, if you heard it. German train. You know, if you need the German train and it's not on time, and then if you don't need it, like here, it's coming all the time, like all the time. Trains coming by. So, tightening it one more time. Oh, don't want to overdo it. I just actually want to fix it so it stays in, but not want to like over tighten the screws. So it's going to hold well. And then we're like assembling this part, we're fixing it here as in the instructions, and then we have a movable part, like we have a kind of a flexible way to secure it and tension it by moving it and then tightening the screw. Long screw through the two parts. Absolutely right. All right, long screw. We are currently just double checking that we are like, what is this M330 screw for? Oh yeah, see, this is the tightening screw. So we only want, we want to have one screw here, but it's not tightened. So because it's movable. Okay, I guess I get it now. Why this is not tightened. Was just wondering why don't they tighten the screw up, but it's because the other screw is actually for tightening. Okay, fine with that. This is actually harder than I thought. It's not so easy because you have to hold it while you're trying to get the screw in, and you don't want to misalign the screw here, and you want to get it into the spot without putting it in a angle. So if it is too hard, I guess we have to. Yeah, we probably have to release the belt a little bit. My goodness, this is not easy. Okay, but it's working. It's going in. Right now. So, look at this. Here we go. This is the place where I'm working right now, and I have to like tighten the screws, but just to the point where we can still move this part around. So it's flat sitting on this piece, but it's still movable, right? And then we'll have the long screw coming in from here all the way through these two parts, connecting those together. And here's another nut that's going to be the receiving part where we have to insert this. And it's probably a bit harder to get it in. Let me see. Not 100% sure if we are already in the right spot. Probably some room for. Okay, we have to connect them now, and I think I've got two parts. Like these two are there's some belt. There's some tension already. I'm not sure how much I should tension them now. I think I will just do it like I do on my printers. So it's still going easy enough. But that sounds reasonable for me. So seems to be that this is okay, like working fine, at least from a tension perspective. Let's see if we are done here. let's double check. What's the battery status, by the way, of my... Oh, it's good. It's good. You will reach the nylon nut, yeah. Make sure I'm reaching it, so that's good. Start tightening. Make sure the belt is placed in the axis of the printer. Both top and bottom part of the belt should be parallel. To adjust the belt position, release screws on the pulley and slightly move it until you reach the best position. Tighten both screws on the pulley. So I'm double checking that. Just making sure that the belt is going straight. For me, that looks fine. Just looking from top down here, it's going straight. Good. Belt is pretty much, I would say I wouldn't tension it more now. That would be one of the next steps here, like tensioning the belt, testing the belt, using the technique described below to test if the belt is properly stretched. Use pliers to hold the Y-axis motor shaft. Move the Y carriage with your hand toward the Y-axis motor. Don't use excessive force. If the belt is stretched properly, you should feel a resistance and the Y-axis carriage wouldn't move. If it's not enough, then we'll jump. Okay, let's try this. I think I'm pretty confident. So holding this, it's not bending at all. So probably it's good. It's good. Stretch is fine. Good. Next step, Haribo time. Okay. Carefully and quietly open the bag with the Haribo sweets. A high level of noise might attract nearby predators. You need to split the bears into 8 groups according to the upcoming chapters. Each chapter requires a specific amount of bears. See the picture? For Y-axis, you must eat 15%. 6. Seems they counted them, actually. What's in this bag? So we have finished the Y-axis. The Y-axis is finished. I'm gonna eat 6 bears now. I'm gonna give you my review on the Haribo Gold Bear. And with that, probably gonna end up the stream also, because I think it doesn't make sense to start something new today. Yeah, so that was 2 hours and 40 minutes for the Y-axis, the frame, carriage. But it looks awesome. It's sturdy, so I like it already. And the gummy bears, awesome. I mean, I have to admit that I'm addicted to these, and only these. So Haribo, don't get me started. It's so hard to resist eating the whole package. But I have to stop myself. Well, there's like the right amount of chewing resistance, sweetness. They have different tastes. Each of them, like each color is tasting a little bit different. Like it says apple. There's all kinds of different flavors here. I really like it. That was the longer 39 minutes of my life. Yeah, can you hear it? That's how the bell sounds.
Okay. How many of you are still watching? 24. Amazing. It's less than the last time, but yeah, probably a few of you are interested to see the next stream. I'm gonna give you a preview of the next chapter. So next chapter is let's jump. X-axis assembly. That's all about the bearings, motor. That's probably a bit faster. It has 14 steps. Yeah, Z-axis, E-axis, LCD, heat bed. I mean, there's still a way to go, but just telling from the number of steps, I think we are like at 50% of time, I would say. Timing-wise, I think 50% or something. So, that has been my 6 bears. So, I'd say the last step to do for today, filling up my Xbox fridge. And then I'm gonna head home. So far, I like my studio, which was one of the questions. How do you like your studio so far? I think it works pretty well for me. I still have a ton of stuff at home. Like, that's the only thing that I don't like at the moment. I was hoping to get more things here and then remove it from my basement. I'm somewhere in the middle, I would say, in terms of deciding what to keep, what to move, what not to move. And then we're gonna have probably more stuff that I'm gonna give away because of some reasons. Like, I'm gonna like consolidate on less stuff, and then we're gonna see. Yeah. So keep watching the stuff here. So last time we gave away this little printer here behind me. Finally got the rest of the receiver and sending it out to the winner of our last stream. I still have so many things that I wanna like give away. Not today, but next time maybe when it fits in, and then we'll see. Thank you for coming. See you next time on the channel. We're gonna, I think, most probably next Monday, I'm gonna announce the next stream, continuing this. Otherwise, if I have time this week, we are gonna probably have another session. Can't promise you yet if we are gonna do another stream on Friday, but like the best guess is Monday or Tuesday next week. I'm gonna do the follow-up on this one here. I'm also working on another video that I plan to release next week. Took me so much time now to do this. The next video on my current video that I'm working on. I'm also working on a Bamboo Lab review. I'm not sure if we're gonna finish it before our summer vacation. Aiming for it, but yeah, there's so many more things that I want to test on that printer, so it's not 100% clear to me when I'm gonna be done with all of the tests. See you next time on the channel. It was a pleasure, and greets to your families. Stay healthy. Bye bye. Good night.